Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Fantasy Hockey Pucks podcast episode. I'm your host, Antonio Cappas, alongside Ben Rutledge. To open us up today, we're going to talk about texting and what type of a texter we are. So I'm gonna open this discussion. We had like a somewhat of a partial discussion about this the other day, but I wanted to delve a little bit more into it as Ben dies. Literally,
dude, I literally had a yawn. So we do like a countdown before we start. You know, I like get yourself a little like prepared, get whatever. I had a yawn from second 9 to second 2 on that. I had a 7-second yawn, and my eyes were just completely full of water as we started. And I'm like, well, I'm dialed. But anyway, back to what Antonio was saying. I would say I'm overall a good texter. Like when you text me, I generally get back to you. Like I would say I get like sub an hour, like unless I'm busy, obviously, and like not on my phone. But I would say like if it's important, like as soon as I see it, I'll answer. But I would say under an hour from like a friend, family member, like a text is my general response time. And then obviously, like if they answer right away, I'll answer right away. Like I'm not waiting that amount of time every time. Like I will have an actual conversation.
You will wait an hour.
Exactly. But I would say I do definitely avoid harder like if it's a harder text, minimum, unless it's important, like 3 hours probably, and then I'll answer it.
Okay, yeah.
Part of it is like
I see that.
Sometimes I genuinely have to formulate what I'm going to say, and then of course you forget about it because you close the app, and like let's be real, you're going to start thinking about something else for a bit of time. You're going to forget about it, and then if it's important enough, then I'll circle back and answer. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
What
I don't know. I feel like I'm.
Do you like massively disagree with anything that I said?
No, I don't think that's crazy. I think that's good. I feel like I'm also just a little bit like on my phone all the time for no good reason. Like I don't know. I just maybe it's the people pleaser in me, but I just want to get back to you like right away. So unless I'm like at practice or like doing something where I'm literally not allowed to be on my phone or away from my phone, I feel like I'm getting back to you within half an hour. Like I feel like you definitely had it.
Trying to think, you're probably, I'm excluding my girlfriend, like you're probably the best texter that like I text. I would say you generally get back to me the quickest. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I think. Well, yeah, it also depends on who's texting me. Like if you're outside the normal range of people.
Oh yeah, if you're not,
and I don't know how you're gonna. Yeah, and I don't know how you're gonna respond or something. That's gonna go on the back.
Minimum 12. Minimum
12 hours.
Oh yeah, dude. If you're not like, if it's okay. Obviously, if anyone texts me and it's important or time sensitive, like I will respond as soon as I see it. Like first of all, like I'm a decent human being. But if they send me something that's not really important or doesn't really require immediate attention, or like it's about something that's far in the future and like they could get an answer from me later and it wouldn't really matter. Like I definitely take my time. Part of it is like I would say I use text as my primary communication app. So meaning I text a lot of people. Like I'm not trying to sound unpopular, but I text, I would say a good 8 to 10, like pretty consistently. And so like I'll almost daily text those 8 to 10, which means it falls down out of what I see on the app. Mm-hmm. And so then once that happens too, that adds a decent amount of time because still I fucking remember it's there.
Yeah.
But that's all like someone I'm not super close with. And if it's not that important.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like for me, if you're an interest of mine, and you know what I mean when I say that, it's almost like I gotta wait. Like I gotta wait or else, because sometimes you'll call me and it'll be literally like it won't even ring. Like,
dude, it'll be like, and you'll have answered. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Meanwhile, my girlfriend has her phone on ultimate silent mode. So like, when you lose it, and you're like, can you call me? Yeah, it doesn't even work. Doesn't even have like vibrate on. She is like literally.
How do you live like that? How do you live like that? Though?
Trust me, it's so annoying, bro. Like when I need to get her attention, I could call her 17 times in a row, and it literally does not matter.
I couldn't. I mean, first, okay. Follow-up question here, because it's actually where I was going with it. Are you more of like a texter or caller person, or like an in-person type of person? This is like a general dating app question.
Okay,
but like,
so I mean, like first of all, I prefer in-person conversation the most. That's my favorite. I feel that's like, I don't know. I feel like I find, okay, We're resetting here.
Yep.
The best way that I find like I break the ice, get people to know me is through humor. Now, I would say my humor is like 30% of it comes from I find I act out a lot of situations or I'll use my hands and like do something that adds to it that I feel like I can't convey on text or call. And so obviously if I'm texting or calling you, like you already like me most of the time. And so you're like, I don't have to necessarily like make you like me. Like we're just going to naturally talk, but that's why I'd say I prefer in-person conversation. And then, but I'm a texter over a caller.
So you got that like Jim Carrey type of comedy happening.
Not that excessive, but like I would say, yeah, like I like to act things out and like be like, what? Okay. Or like just stuff that you can't really do on the phone.
I like that. I like that acting out as you're talking about acting out is good.
Okay. Well, yeah, you know, exaggerate that a little bit. But
I feel like that's why us as a friend group in high school used to FaceTime a lot, because that's where like a lot of our funny conversations came from, was just being on the FaceTime, and you get funny moments. Like I'd have like a face mask on or something for my hideous fucking acne, and I would just get sniped.
Or you'd occasionally misjudge where the camera angle was, and like you'd be like, "Oh, I see Ben's right ass cheek" or something like that. Or then we'd sometimes just do it on purpose too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, gotta give the homie some love, you know.
Exactly. If you're not real little gay with your friends,
as somebody said, that was very wise back in the day. Hey man, we're just horny teenagers with raging testosterone.
Oh my goodness, that's a pull.
Yep,
that's a throwback.
Yeah, but I feel like for me at least, like, yeah, I also like being in person. I'd say like I'm definitely like the easiest thing's probably calling. Like I'm very much a caller over a texter. Like if you text me, I don't know what it is. It just my brain turns off and I don't understand how to continue the conversation if it's just like linear. Like I feel like I gotta call to it, like adds like a level. I feel like you're playing 3D chess rather than like checkers when you're calling. You know what I mean?
Fair. I think though, if you're a good texter, you can text in 3D. To stick with your analogy, like I feel when I'm really in my groove texting someone and we're like in a conversation, like I can text and like I'm a big fan of the ... I feel the ... is a really big way to convey like it's basically able to convey the like without actually doing that. And so I'm a big fan of that. And like I don't know, I just feel like, and I'll send like short messages like bunch in a row to kind of delineate that like they're like meant to be a popcorn ass thought, not like because nobody like doing a comma or actually doing a return list. Like I only do it on ranking.
I use commas. Is that like a deal breaker? Like I use commas occasionally. Like
okay, yeah, well I'll use comma occasionally if it's really necessary. But again, most of the time I'd use a ... where really a comma should go, or a
okay. True.
You know, semicolon, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's weird.
Well, you know where you guys can see our texting styles? In our DMs at Fantasy Hockey Pucks, plugging the Instagram here. We're also always active in thank you. We're also always active in our comments on the FHP_pod on TikTok and on YouTube as well. If you send a comment on one of our videos or one of our podcasts, even better if you like timestamp the actual time of the podcast that we were talking about something and then like comment your thoughts on it. Get right back to you, and if you have a question, we might feature you in the next episode. But that's enough talk for now. Let's drop the puck.
You're listening to the Fantasy Hockey Pucks podcast.
Yeah, how's
we're not dropping the podcast, bro. That's crazy. What? Bro, what are you reading into? I'm not a woman. I'm not hiding signs, bro. I'm fucking face value. Why are you?
No, dude. The more positive route, you're just like, oh, Dylan's a bitch.
All right, we are back. So how's life been, man?
You know, it's been good. I mean, not much has changed in the last 3 days, if I'm being honest with you. But it's just been basically school, FHP, sports. You know, not much else. But yeah, you know, in 29, we've been really hitting the gym. Really, we've done like 2 in the last like 5 days.
Yeah, we've been really hitting the gym.
But we're going tomorrow, and we're getting in some squash too after. You know, getting the cardio. I think that's really like I would say the biggest my biggest like newish focus is like really getting back in the gym, really trying to prioritize like my body health. Obviously, summer's coming up. You want to look good at the beach, you want to look good on the dock, on the boat. But I mean, obviously, it's also just like feel better about yourself, feel more accomplished when you're like going out doing stuff. I mean, you sleep easier. Like a lot of stuff is just better when you exercise. So, mixing that in, of course.
I completely agree. Honestly, today, like coming back from the gym after hitting legs, bro, my confidence.
Dude, oh my gosh. I've not had my body part fail me like that in my life before, I don't think. Bro, I'm literally walking up the stairs after getting home and I like fell. Like my leg like gave out. Okay, first of all, my stairs are steep and I was taking two at a time.
Oh, okay.
And I was taking two at a time.
And
I like
gave
pushed,
out and you're just like
pushed and I had all my weight on one leg, sub 90 degree, trying to like stand up. And I kind of fell forward like, on my like one knee and like kind of put my hands out. And then I laid on my stomach for, dramatic effect because why not?
With nobody around, just
No, I was on FaceTime with Minnie actually.
Okay. That makes it a little better.
But I was alone in the apartment. That's why I was alone in the apartment. That's why I like filleted myself on the floor.
I was gonna say, bro, what are you, a theater kid, bro? Like fucking just doing it for the vibe. Like
I think I could have been a great actor.
Yeah. I don't have the memory to do it, honestly. I feel like
dude, I know I have
a lot of things. I have
a really good memory, and it's photographic. Like I remember a text conversation, I remember the image like that my eyes saw of the conversation, not like what was said. I know it's a photographic memory, but I feel like that's what you'd want if you're gonna read a script.
Yeah,
no?
True. No, I could not do it. I forget what I said this like 2 sentences ago. Honestly.
But like, see, the difference is I couldn't do theater, bro. I'd freeze. I get so scared. And I mean, also there's more singing involved, which is a real issue for me. But just aside from that part, just in terms of the acting, like I would not be able to do it in front of people. Whereas like I could do it in front of a camera, and I get there's people there, but like, yeah, it's very adjusted what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's very different. Like theater's like very like out there. Whereas like
but it's also live and fluid and it's all happening at once. Whereas like you can perfect it as an on film actor. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how we got to talk about that, but yeah. What about you? Anything new? Any updates to provide? The listeners.
I don't know, man. The motivation's there, man, for the gym. It's real.
I agree,
I don't even
good.
know where it came from. Like it. Who the heck just got suspended on the team, bro?
Like women.
Anyway, we'll get to that later. But
women / like just the mirror and the photo.
Yeah, but like not even though. Like,
well, part of it is but I also think you and I are. Well, first of all, we're good friends, so we can be very honest with each other. And like, I don't feel the need to impress you with the weights that I'm lifting, and I don't think you feel the same.
No, that's actually
so huge. That makes it way easier because it's a just very positive environment. Like, hey, man, like. You support me when I lift more than you. I support you and you lift more than me. And I feel like that makes it a lot easier to want to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like because like I can't lift with people from my like rugby team because I'm just like, bro, I cannot have them seeing what I'm doing on bench right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to catch up. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch up.
All you guys out there, it's okay to lift less weight. It'll come with time.
Exactly. You'd rather just lift what you actually need to do, build the muscles where that like as they need to be built. And like if you go consistently, you'll go up.
Yeah.
Now we can't be again, we're not trying to fucking preach and pretend like we're heroes because we've gone twice in the last 5 days.
Yeah, it's like
we're just trying to be motivational. Okay. We're trying to
it feels good, man. The confidence.
It feels like the motivation. Feels like the motivation we had when we like restarted the pod for the 3rd to 7th time. And like, but we had a vision, we had a plan, like way better than we did before. And yeah, I agree. Yep. I'm feeling good about it.
All right. Well, enough about us. Let's talk about what's happening in the sports world. Yeah, it's okay. We're like on the same brainwave line.
A collection of enthusiasts talking about happening in the sports world. That's the Pat McAfee.
Oh,
like they have a thing, they're like a warning thing, and they're like, I used to know like the whole thing. I used to watch it a ton in football season. I know, but it's like It's like we're a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. This is not reflective of our peers, our bosses, or ESPN. Like it's like that. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further. Something like that.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, we
That's
got to
like
add
how they
something like
started.
that.
And then they go to their intro. Why? Let's go like that. Yeah.
Maybe we'll take some notes. Maybe I'll come up with some.
It's fire. It's fire. Yeah. We'll watch it after and we'll discuss. But
we'll discuss.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
well, talking about things that are not suitable
last.
for kids.
We're saving that for last.
Okay.
So first, actually, I'm just gonna hand it over. So I mean, it's not that obvious. Antonio and I actually, outside of hockey and football, follow very different sports. Like our interests are not that aligned outside of those two. So you'll notice like he'll take the lead on some, I'll take the lead on some, mostly based on who primarily watches that sport. As I say that, Italy misses the World Cup, and I'll pass it on to Antonio, who just knows more about this than I do.
I mean, I'm not going to drone on about it for a while, but they haven't made the World Cup since 2014, which I mean,
that was crazy when we Googled that this morning. That was crazy.
Later. 12 years later. Oh my God, I can do math.
W math, bro.
But yeah, I mean, they won a Euro in there, so they're not a bad team. And normally it's actually the people find it harder to win a Euro than to win the World Cup because generally speaking, like European teams are like all really good. So like every round there's a good chance that you get knocked out. Whereas like in the World Cup, it's like, okay, you're going to have teams in there like Qatar. Like, I mean, Brazil is a superpower. Don't get me wrong. Brazil and like Argentina, but you take those two teams away, like all the other teams that are coming from around the world are just weaker, just objectively. So, it's just been a very big disadvantage for them, honestly. Like they had a young core when they won the Euro, and they just haven't really been able to put it together to like, I can't even understand what happened. Honestly, it doesn't make sense to anybody. And then they would have been in the same group this summer with Canada, which would have been electric for like, especially really for like Italian Canadians. That would have been huge, like to watch. They would have been the first game of the World Cup would have been Italy, Canada in Toronto, which also would have been huge for Canada as a country because like for the first game to happen in Canada, in Toronto,
I actually don't know whether there we go.
Sorry. For the first game to happen and be against a superpower like Italy, that actually has looked weak recently, and there's a chance they could have won that game. Like that would have been electric. And now what's happened is Italy's out, and all the people that bought tickets for that game are like reselling them because nobody wants to see Canada play Bosnia in the first group stage game. Because it's this like, who cares?
Yo, there's someone out there who bought a ticket, resold it for like 300 above what they paid for it. And Italy's now not playing, and they just profited $300 on someone who's probably going to lose money on that transaction.
Yeah, 100%.
If they decide not to go to the game.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
I mean, all I know is it's better for Canada. It just makes a weaker pool, gives them maybe a chance to actually move on.
Yeah, well, I think that there's definitely a huge chance that they get out of the group now. Like it's them or Switzerland, and I mean, Switzerland's a great team. Don't get me wrong. They're a great team, but like definitely like the chances of them beating two teams now and then sitting there at 2 and having enough points to make it through to the round of 16, like they can do it. They can do it. I believe in them. Not my team, but that's a discussion for other day. Like they're definitely my second favorite team, but
we'll get into that.
Actually,
at some point, when the World Cup is on this summer,
we're
going to get into that.
Yeah.
But yes, continuing in the sports world, the baseball season began. Obviously, it had begun last episode that we were recording, but it continues. The Jays, after sweeping the Athletics in the opening series, host the Rockies and drop 2 of 3. So not necessarily what you want to say. They lose in extras in an afternoon tilt the set today. Not ideal. Starting pitching's been good. Hitting was just not there this series. It's that simple. Lose Cody Ponce to injury. He sustains an ACL sprain. Really tough. He looked really good through 4 or 5 innings. Suffers knee injury. Pitchers feeling balls are so weird because they're typically not actually that athletic. They just have a rocket arm. And so like he literally was just running to pick up the ball. Now he's a big dude. He's like 6'5", but he like reaches down to pick it up and basically just like hyperextends his knee. and sprains his ACL. It's not torn, so he's not done for the year, but it was literally his first start since 2021. Feel horrible for him. Yeah, he debuted in the majors, was not very good, went abroad, found his game in Korea, was like a big player coming back over in free agency. Jays sign him. And yeah, this happens unfortunate, but hope get well soon. He looked nasty. He looked really, really good. I mean, it's the Rockies, so like not the best lineup, but still. And then yeah, around baseball, Bichette's getting booed in New York. Harper's getting booed in Philly. And the Dodgers are nasty. And so is the AL East. So
I mean,
that's about it.
That's what happens when there's no cap on spending and you're an LA market team.
Yeah. But honestly, I've kind of changed my tune on that. I really think it's the teams like the Rays and the Pirates and the Rockies and the Athletics who refuse to, and the Brewers who refuse to spend money. That is a bigger issue. The reason the Dodgers are able to get up these guys is because 75% of the league is immediately not even trying to sign them.
Yeah, that's true. That's equal.
And so it's already down to like 8 to 10 teams who are going to get them for all the players. And for most of the teams, once you get one of them, you're off the list. So like the Phillies got like Schwarber and Harper, and they're off the list. You know, and like the Jays did have the money for Tucker, but like couldn't go higher because they paid Cease and Gosman and Springer and Vlad. And so it's really like the Brewers need to be signing guys like that, and the Athletics, and then that way the Dodgers aren't able to get all of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's my personal opinion on it. But anyway.
Well, talking about powerhouses in sports. Oh. Well,
actually, no, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. All right.
Well, again, going back, talking about powerhouses in sports, a powerhouse in our Dynasty Hockey League, my fantasy hockey team is in shambles right now. I am currently down, as of right now, actually, I'll give you guys a live update as of 10.
120.5 to 74.5.
Oh, and Anaheim's up again. Come on,
and still has an assist. Still has an assist. Let's go.
Brother,
oh
what?
My goodness. He's cooking. He has the same amount of assists as your entire team.
That's true, actually. Wow. This was supposed to be my night. This was supposed to be my night.
It's over.
I've made up 5 points. I need to make up a good 30. Well,
night, big dog.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go down to Benjamin here. He's, just in a completely different place in the rebuild than I am. Actually, he's not in a rebuild. I'm in a retool. He's just.
I'm the 2-time defending champ, boy. That's what I am. Yeah, you like to see that, eh, kid?
We don't.
I got a core of not a big deal. Matthews, Kaprizov, Rantanen, Nylander, Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Dahlin.
To be fair, the fact that I'm here and after winning a round, after selling at the deadline, I feel like that's
nice.
Give me my flat.
Lars. Yeah, let's get O'Reilly. Heischer.
Okay.
Raquel.
We're putting O'Reilly on that.
Heischer. It was more Heischer.
Yeah.
And Raquel's actually been nasty, bro. Raquel's been so good over his last 10.
Talk to me in a year and a half, and we'll see what's happening.
Listen, man, he won me a chip last year by being this good, and if he's going to be this good again and winning me 2, that's all I need. Anyway, yeah, it's not looking good. And, the last piece of news, feel like we need to touch on this here very briefly, but Tiger Woods is in yet another car crash / DUI. I don't understand why this guy doesn't just hire a personal driver at this point.
No, exactly. If you have the money, just do it, bro. Get your son to drive you around, for Christ's sake,
That's literally the solution, and I just don't understand it.
Dude, surely you have somebody that in somewhere close in your life that would just come around and drive you around if you
asked. There would be.
If you just pay for their food or something, or just pay for their to come out with you and experience the life. There's got to be a way. I know, obviously he parties hard because he's getting DUIs. He definitely parties hard. So there's definitely some appeal to going out with him and living the life. But
they found him his body he had pills in his pocket, loose pills in his pocket.
That's That's a good
like
look.
some form of painkillers. Yeah, he was, and his eyes were like very dilated and bloodshot, apparently.
Well, I'm happy that he's not seriously injured. That's what I'll say. I'm happy
He's going into rehab though.
Okay, we'll see how long that lasts.
I think. I don't 100% know that. I'm pretty sure he is. You know who I do know is going into rehab is Puka Nacua. That I do know.
Actually,
he's going to rehab. Yeah, after getting sued for saying an anti-Semitic comment to his girlfriend and biting her.
Who's his girlfriend? I feel like I've seen that he's dating like literally every like hot blonde and.
It may not have been his girlfriend. It may have just been a girl that he went out with. But I know it was a girl. It was like all in the news last week. But yeah, not great stuff. But that's why sports people should be revered for what they can do, and you should admire them and have them as your favorite players, but not role models. Personally, that's kind of how I feel on that. I think
agreed.
There's plenty of other people who can fill those role model roles that aren't sports players. And listen, there's plenty of great human beings who are elite athletes, but there's just a lot who are not. I don't know if I call Paul a great human being. Like he's a great human being, but there are some questionable things he says / potentially does. But he's the GOAT. I love him. He's so funny. He does so much for hockey too.
Yeah, he's like the Sean Strickland of hockey.
Yeah, I did. Sure.
I forgot that you wouldn't understand that, but it's like a UFC joke because Sean Strickland's like extremely racist and homophobic. And he's like,
all right, I wouldn't go that far on him, but
no, I know, but
we love you, Biz. Okay, we love you, Spin Chicklets. Okay. With that, that's all I got to say on this topic.
Yeah, let's get into hockey talk here, and we'll start with something that I know we talked about not talking about our favorite teams, but considering the news that's happened recently, it felt fitting to talk about our favorite teams because. Well, I mean, anytime there's a change in the front office, it's worth talking about for fantasy. And we'll talk with that. We'll start with talking about the Brad Treliving firing and the dumpster fire of the front office that is the Leafs right now. And I'll leave it there for you, and you can.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like the reminiscence of whatever Treliving's staff was, but yeah, I mean, we fired Shanahan, didn't replace him. We just let Keith Pelley come in, who's fine, whatever. He's president of MLSE, but that's not a hockey guy. That's not a guy who knows hockey like Brendan Shanahan did. So I think not hiring that is for years questionable. Like I get, like you fired Shanahan in May. Like you had plenty of time to find someone. Like you didn't have to. It was the president. Like you still had your GM in place who could have operated the offseason. You could have been looking for a president whose role obviously involves the hockey team, but is primarily focused on the outer workings of the team. Like not really what goes on the ice, but everything that is involved around them, not on the ice. So didn't really need him for the offseason. So I don't really get that, especially when in the press conference, you're like, yeah, our plan is to go back to a GM and president. Like if that was your plan all along, did you need a year to figure that out? Like, I feel like you could have known from the start
I feel like
you weren't going to be the guy to be the president.
I feel like this is maybe the issue of being owned by a corporation, though, rather than like a family of owners. You know what I mean? Like, the Bruins would never have.
Pelley's the president of 6 teams right now.
Yeah.
He's the president of the Toronto Argonauts, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Marlies, Toronto FC, and Toronto Rock. Like, he's the president of 6 teams right now. Was that 6? I didn't even think that was 6. There's one other that I'm forgetting. The PWHL team, maybe? I don't know. But there's 6 teams that he's in charge of. Like, that's absurd. Yeah. And I know I think the Argos and TFC are hiring a new president. And like they're also switching the entire MLSE organization towards a data-driven approach, which, listen, I'm a big fan of that. That's what Dubas was. I think if you look at a lot of the most successful teams right now, a lot of them are data-driven, and especially in other sports like.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened to Washington after they literally bought the biggest data source in the NHL, and then they just out of nowhere just had like actually good like prospects and drafting.
Yep, exactly. It's a big deal that you're switching to this, and I feel like they had that, and they were actually ahead of the curve on that. Like Dubas was one of the pioneers of the like data-driven build your team. Like that was like the biggest gripe that people had. And then we went back in time to the Treliving Berube and it like ruined the team. And like, are there people who could execute that type of strategy well? For sure. I think the Panthers do a very good job of walking the line between making sure they still play hockey at its core and include violence, which I think is actually important that data doesn't view it as. But like, as kind of fucked up as it is, like banging into Charlie McAvoy for 7 straight games will make him not as good of a player in game 7 as he was in game 1. That's just a fact. If you bang him every game. And so like, that's obviously important. And so I think trying to find the line is obviously massively important. And yeah, so all that is a very open-ended thing that I just said there. But I guess to wrap it up, I'm happy they're switching to data-driven. I really don't understand not having a president before, the timing on why you fired him an hour and a half before a puck drop of probably the biggest game of the year that you're going to play all season, like against Anaheim, like, and you decide to announce you're firing him when you knew a week ago. Do it before or after. Like, you don't have to release it. His press conference, I thought, was dog shit.
Yeah, he didn't look good.
And I just don't think Pelley's the guy. But I'm like that feels that he recognizes that. And I think right now I'm feeling very like, oh my God, like we have people who I don't trust still making decisions. But I feel like
I guess
he's
like
going to hire a
question,
president, and like I feel like he's going to step back once he hires a president.
Well, I feel like the question becomes like, who's the guy then? You know what I mean? Like, especially for presidents, like I feel like a lot of the time, the president happens to be a player that used to play for the team that just is really good in the front office.
Yeah.
Like, look, it was Shanahan before. You got Sakic for,
but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not necessarily. Sorry.
You're right.
You
are right. It's a hockey guy. It's a hockey guy.
Like somebody who's played the game, like who knows what it is.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Like a Sakic, like a Shanahan, like a, oh my God, Neely, like
Francis, Rob Blake,
yeah, like we can go through the list.
There's a bunch that are in executive roles.
I
like, don't disagree with you.
Whereas like a GM doesn't have to be that, but I feel like you almost have to have that for a president.
I'm a big fan of the president, GM, 2 different roles, I think.
I agree.
Because I don't think them being one person is the best thing for the hockey club. Like, but first of all, that's 2 jobs that one person is doing. Like, you cannot adequately fulfill your GM duties in scouting, scouting both in prospects and in pro players, and in scout and like in just general understanding of the team, general canvassing of the trade block. Like, you're not able to do all that if you're also focusing on renovations to the building and like planning events and like renting out the building to other people. Like, those are 2 different jobs. And so I think I'm a big fan of them going back to that. If we're getting into specific people, I mean, I don't know for president. Like, I don't know. I don't know who that's going to be. Like, there's not. But
I have a thought here. Like, I was actually thinking about this a little bit.
Okay.
And you could tell me this is really stupid, but like, I'll let you go through the GM candidates and then we can talk about it after. But I have an interesting proposition.
Yeah, the listed GM candidates from a variety of sources, actually of most of them being Friedman, are so first, Doug Armstrong feels like the biggest name out there right now. He's the current GM of the Blues, although there's speculation that he's going to be fired at the end of the season or step away. Like, it feels like he's just kind of done there. And so that's one that I've seen heavily rumored for president. Is that people think that we should hire him as a president.
Oh, really?
That would also be the way it doesn't look sketchy that he comes over to us, is he gets a promotion because he's the GM. He might be both, but I think he might only be the GM for the Blues. And so to come over and get the president title would like make it very clear he's stepping up.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even mind him as a GM candidate. I actually like what he's done with St. Louis. He won a cup with that team. And then obviously you say like you want to cup in the Berube style, but I think he's done a nice job of adjusting. Like, I really think he's got a good youth movement going in St. Louis. Like, I'm a big fan of actually everything he did at the deadline. I'm a big fan of like the fact that they had fired Drew Bannister and just immediately hired Montgomery after he was fired, that you're just willing to just go out there and make your move, get your guy. Like, that's something I feel Toronto hasn't had. And if you take you look at a big example of this, like Dubas, like, knew he was going to be fired for a year. Shanahan knew he was going to be fired for a year. Like, we just take so long to make decisions all the time. And so get a guy in there who's not afraid to just go right at it, get what he wants, get it done. I don't mind that. And then the rest of these candidates are all quite different to a Doug Armstrong. The next being Jason Spezza. He was a former Leafs assistant GM when Dubas was here. He went over to Pittsburgh with Dubas, but obviously has connections from playing with the Leafs for 2 or 3 years. I really like this. He's an analytical thinker, and he thinks like Dubas, who I'm a massive fan of, was a massive fan when he was in Toronto, never wanted him to leave. And so I think I like bringing him in, who's basically a Dubas clone. Another guy who's like a Dubas clone is Brendan Pridham, the current assistant GM of the Leafs. He was the assistant GM for the Marlies with Dubas. He got promoted when Dubas went up with him. He's paid his dues. I think he thinks very similar to Dubas, much like Spezza. So again, like the candidate a lot. The next two are the 2 assistant GMs for the Florida Panthers, Sonny Mehta and Brett Peterson. I mean, I don't feel like I need to say much to the back-to-back Cup champs, I think. And they're also like, look at what they're doing this year. They have a top 10 pick. They're going to pick somewhere probably between like 4 and 8 in the draft. And then they're going to just make the playoffs and be a Cup contender again next year.
Yeah.
And they are the team that literally has found the balance between like the violence aspect, but also the necessary data driven aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And so hard to not want to poach from that. And then the last guy is Mike Gillis, who was the former GM and I think president, but definitely former GM of the Canucks. He was relieved of his duties for Jim Rutherford after the Heat. But basically he built the core of the Canucks, like the PD Hughes, Horvat, the trade for Miller. Like that was him who built it. The team just could never get into do anything in the playoffs. I mean, that was the story of that entire team. But I don't think they ever had the right coach in there or the right mix of all the players. But anyway, he did a really good job building young guys. And so I think he's another intriguing prospect candidate, but probably I put him last for a reason. Like I generally rank that in order of candidates that I would be most interested in just bringing them to the organization. And yeah.
Okay.
So what was your thought?
Here's my thought. We talk about a president being a player and somebody like who knows hockey like that and is able to like kind of relate with players. My thought is Spezza comes back to the organization as the president because he's been there before. Obviously, he's never been an actual GM, but if he comes in with somebody like a Doug Armstrong at GM, and they kind of
would just flip-flop the roles.
Flip it.
I don't think there's ever been an executive who became a president who like went started off as a low executive and kind of move up route. Like, I don't think there's ever been one who skipped being a GM if they weren't ever on the president track to begin with. Like, he's clearly on the wanting to become a GM.
Yeah.
Like, you generally become a GM, do well, and then you'll become a president and like you'll have more job security. Nor do I think the Leafs would choose him over Doug Armstrong as president.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it makes more sense then is my other thing was to say like Spezza and then Pridham becomes the GM.
That one would work if like
you couldn't hire someone like part of it. Like that's kind of like if they're worried to go outside and they want to stay with people that have known the program.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like, you just go there. Basically any combo, I think, of Armstrong, Spezza, Mehta, or Peterson, like those 4. Like you just go any combo of 2 of them being one of them president, one of them GM. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think mind that. I like Spezza and Pridham because like I don't. The thing is, like, I don't think that you have to think of like president as like the all overpowering. Like it's because people can do the role together. You can very much like have 2 people that kind of coexist in like somewhat of like a harmonious way that they kind of like overlap.
Yes, but it's Toronto Maple Leafs. They have to be a booming figure. They do. Like, you just have to if you're going to fill this role. Like, bro, I'm not like, if we roll out Brendan Pridham, who's like the kind of nerdy looking dude with glasses, and we're like, this is the next president of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, he's not. I don't know. I just feel like you got to have someone who's going to command the room.
That's kind of like that's kind of why I want Spezza. Because I know he doesn't have the experience as a GM.
Would be good, but I can guarantee you there's a 0% chance that he becomes a president over a GM. Like Dubas was
unless they make him
GM
both.
and then became
unless
president.
They make him
He's
both.
not going to be both. They said they want 2 different roles.
Okay.
And there's not a world in hell that I would give an assistant GM the keys. That's like giving that's like giving a 16-year-old keys to an F1 car and saying, go have fun on a road that's straight forever. You know what I mean? Like, that's a horrific idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that he can command the room. I know he's like he's a personable guy. He's played the sport before. He knows the sport.
That's why he's a great GM candidate. That's why he's number 2 on my GM candidates.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they might be looking at a completely different list of people for president, if we're honest. Like, you don't.
That's why I said I'm not going to comment on president because I don't know, but I don't disagree with you. Like, I definitely think that there's a world where they hire someone. I mean, we're probably going to know who it is, but I think it's probably going to be an old white dude who like you're going to. My guess is who they hire as president. You're going to know who they are.
Welcome back, Brian Burke.
No, not him, but someone like
I know.
Rob Blake, the old GM and of the Kings, like someone like that. Doug Armstrong, like it's going to be someone like that, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be somebody that's like been around in hockey. There's no.
It's going to be a recycled guy. They're in too like unstable of a place to risk putting a brand new guy in. They'll do that for GM, I think, but he can't do that for president right now. I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, I've come around on it. I said that it might be crazy about my.
No, fair. I liked your thinking, and I loved you being all over Spezza. I think that's a really good candidate who thinks similarly to how they want to think and what made this exact team successful not 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I think he comes in and he's going to get a coach who runs the style system. Dubas got a coach who runs that style system, and Matthews had the best, like Matthews was the best form of himself under those style of systems. And so I think if we want to get into coaches a little bit, obviously Berube isn't fired, but I just don't see a world where a new president and GM say, fuck it. Let's stick with the head coach who just got them their worst season ever. Like, I don't see that happening.
No.
And so, I mean, the first two candidates,
I feel like normally you see the coach go first and then the GM's gone.
It was rare that the GM, I know. The GM went first, but I think I genuinely think, well, first of all, I think it was just a lot of amateurs making decisions across the board. Because why on earth are you firing him before the end of the season if you let him do the deadline? Like, would you not have just rather fired him then and been like, Keith Pelley staying in this organization in some role? So myself, the rest of the team, and Keith Pelley, Keith Pelley, Brendan Pridham, and the rest of the team are going to run the deadline together. Yeah. And because we view like these amount of people staying in the organization, like if that was your plan, I don't understand. Maybe you were like, his last lifeline is the deadline. I generally disagree with that philosophy of thinking, because if you're basically like, if you fuck this up, you're fired. Like, he's clearly fucked up multiple times already. Like, what?
Yeah, that's like, well, you're just fucking the team harder.
You're just screwing the team even more by letting him continue to take on these important days. So I think it was amateur hour on the decision-making across the board for all of this, which is why I want Keith Pelley to stop making decisions immediately, because he makes decisions like a businessman, and like a businessman wouldn't give a flying fuck that you have puck drop in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But like a Doug Armstrong would understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
Well, because you also need somebody to answer. If like something went crazy, like say something was like nothing went that crazy wrong, but like let's say that they're like, two of your players get suspended because they went way over the top. Yeah. Like somebody needs to speak to that.
Yes, exactly. I also like the idea of you're likely hiring everything new in 1 year, meaning you are finding people who align in all the same divisions. You're going to hire a president, and then the president and Pelley are going to be involved in making the decision for the GM. And then you're just going to continue down the line. So you're going to get a line of people who think the same way, have the same plan to execute. And obviously, I mean, you're going to talk to Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, like all those people are going to be consulted in the process of making the decision. And so I think whoever comes in is going to know, like I have this whole organization has given me the full green light to trade Austin Matthews or William Nylander or both. Or they've said, no, we're not doing this. No, they did say they plan on getting back in the playoffs as soon as possible. I don't think it's insane to say by trading one of them, it's still possible that like you get back in the playoffs next year if you get the right guys. If you trade both of them, you're waving the white flag and saying we're rebuilding. And according to Pierre LeBrun this morning, like a lot of GMs plan on pitching that. Like a lot of candidates who are coming in plan on pitching a rebuild. Which I don't think is the worst idea. Like,
well, it's better to do that than to be stuck made up for like.
But also, if you're trading to Matthews and Nylander right now, you're getting max return for them. Maybe not max return, but for Nylander, you're getting max return. For Matthews, maybe not. If you trade him 2 years ago, you probably would have got max return, but you're still getting quite close.
I mean, the thing is, you're not trading a guy like Matthews if he's performing at his top.
Exactly. And so that's why he's available, because the team wouldn't be in this position. Now, I do see also a world where Keith Pelley says, I'm not taking anyone who pitches a rebuild. And so we are just go the route of trying to compete, in which case you're keeping both of them, which I think if you get the right guy in here who pitches a 3-year plan of still winning a cup with this core, but not next year or probably the year after that. Like if you can get someone on board and the organization on board with that is
it's like, okay, like
to fix it.
It's like dish Riley. Look for like a guy like Radish and free agency.
Or I would even arguably I would dish everyone but McCabe and Tanev on the decor.
Yeah, and take a chance on a guy like Elias Pettersson. Like there are things you can definitely do in this.
Go. I mean, dude, go out and acquire one of the plethora of disgruntled prospects who are looking to play more. Isaac Howard, Pavel Minchikov, Simon Nemec, Shane Wright, Kent Johnson, Dmitry Voronkov.
I feel like
you
bring in, like, they figure out what coach is coming in first, and then they're
gonna hire all
the
these
depth
guys
that comes
before.
in. Yeah, but like I feel like the depth that comes in will be dependent on what that coach is. Like you saw, like Treliving brought in his own like depth and like
for
like
sure.
you look at some of the guys that are there. Like an interesting one to me is if Bruce Cassidy does end up coming to the Leafs, which personally I'd hate, but like I think it would be a good move. I think he's an excellent coach
because So I really do think Berube's not style of coaching, not system or anything like that, but the way he commands the room is what will make this team the most successful. I just think his X's and O's are dog shit.
Yeah.
But I think Bruce Cassidy's X's and O's are elite, and he has the same control of the room as Berube. Where he's not going to yell at you, he cares about accountability, he'll be an asshole. But I don't think that was necessarily the issue. I think he was an asshole with like shit coaching, and the players knew it.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at it, like in Boston, he was the right guy. He just didn't work with a couple of the players. And you look at Vegas, they bring in a guy like Mitch Marner. Why the heck do you think he's going to, like Bruce Cassidy's going to work with a guy like Mitch Marner?
I mean,
when,
you could argue
like DeBrusk's basically the
as
same.
Matthews, Nylander.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could argue that that's Matthews and Nylander.
No, but look at the difference in reaction when they're in the playoffs. Like the moment that comes to my mind is when Nylander was like, "Stop fucking bitching," and it's like that's the attitude that Cassidy has. Whereas like a Marner was just sat there like fucking.
He was saying it to 34 too.
Yeah,
that was not just directed at 16. That was at both.
But 16 was the one that's fucking almost crying there on the bench. And like I don't know, like Marner's like reminds me of a DeBrusk type of player where it's like Cassidy literally doesn't really know how to fucking deal with a guy like that is just gonna like fall apart basically when pressure comes. And that's why like DeBrusk was talked about getting traded all along. So I don't know what Vegas was thinking bringing in a guy like Marner and a system with Cassidy. He's like, he comes in and he has like the worst season he's had in his career.
Can't lie, you're taking the better player over the coach. Like you would be just willing to fire Cassidy the way they did to get 8 years.
Yeah, and that's why it happened. I will bet a good amount of money. Like the Marner relationship with Cassidy was a good reason.
Well, I mean, I don't know why he was playing him at center. Like that's just not.
Yeah, that was also really
where he succeeds.
But
I don't know. I don't think he can say that. I don't think you know anything that was going on. Like, have you even Googled the situation once? Like, I don't feel.
It also isn't
comment on Mitch Marner being a problem.
Out there.
Like,
I'm not saying Mitch Marner's the problem. I'm saying that relationship was probably a problem. Based on
Mitch Marner would cause the relationship to not be good. Like it ain't gonna be Cassidy who gives a fuck about the fact that Marner's being mean to him.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna point at Marner and be like he's the issue. Like Cassidy also is part of that. Like it's a two-way street, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't know. I mean, the guy that I want is Pete DeBoer. The guy that I want is simply Pete DeBoer. He's taken three Western Conference teams, 3 different Western Conference teams to the Cup final in the last 10 years. He's never lost in Game 7, which is a massive fucking issue for this organization. I think he's a great coach. He runs an offense for his style. He will not yell at you. Like, I don't think obviously the Jake Ottinger situation, which got him fired in Dallas, was obviously a negative, but that just doesn't that's never happened before. Like, listen, like there's one-off situations like that all the time. The Patrick Waugh thing, like it's sports. Like you get heated, stuff happens. Like I get that. Yeah, I don't think that that's enough for me to not want to hire him. And I mean, you could also go off the board too. There's tons of names off the board.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. They're probably gonna be the most interesting team to follow over the course of the summer. So
yeah, I mean, especially for somebody that lives in the GTA. But
yeah,
well,
but
actually,
I mean, even
in the
across
Atlantic
league,
as a whole, actually. In the Atlantic.
but even just across the league, they're like if you're trading Matthews, that's
big.
I mean, like that's the best player that's been traded since. Like, when can you think of a player who's been that good at 28 years old being traded? Like that alone would make it the most. Hughes, I guess, maybe positionally.
Oh, Hughes, yeah.
Like, but I guess if you think from
Huberdeau.
A forward perspective, no, Huberdeau was not that good, and he wasn't a 1A center.
I mean, he was a 100-point getter at 28.
Matthews is better than Huberdeau, Kachuk, Rampton.
I agree, but like it's close.
JT Miller, like I know it's close, but like Huberdeau needed a contract. Like Matthews doesn't need a contract. He literally just played. I guess actually, I think he might have played. I think he has 2 years left. But like, yeah, I don't know. It would be insane, and that doesn't even include the fact that they're probably going to hire a new position. Everything.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch. But let's keep her going with some breaking news. All right. So what else is breaking in the world of hockey, Benjamin?
Well, in the overall world of hockey, the Oshawa Generals are going to be selecting first overall in the OHL draft. They traded away their boy my boy Ben Danford to the Bulldogs, and they clearly went in rebuild mode. They acquired a ton of picks because in the OHL it's absurd what you get for players. Like I think Danford was traded for like 3 firsts. Part of that is I think the OHL rookie draft is like very unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like obviously you'll hit on guys, but I don't think it has the same like hit rate as the NHL. Kind of like why NBA first get traded so much. Because it's like there's way more busts in the first round than like the other leagues. So yeah, interesting. I can't say I follow the OHL or really plan too much, but obviously it's worth noting.
Far removed.
Also happening on Monday night was, as I mentioned, the aforementioned biggest game of the Leafs season, and that is Leafs versus Gudis/Anaheim. And Domi fought him at the start. Gudis literally just took his long sled. Domi just beat his ass essentially, which is kind of boring. And then nothing really happened in the first. And I'm like, oh, that's boring. Like I was so excited for this, and literally nothing happened. Then the second period happens, and the teams realize that they hate each other. McCabe goes after Gudis, and Husso comes in and starts pulling McCabe off Gudis. Pizzetta literally just sat on top of Gudis at one point, and he gets kicked out. The Stolars punching Husso at center. So the game got electric. I got to say good on Gudis for playing. He was very clearly injured. He didn't play in the third, but he was very clearly injured. He sustained an injury that I think he's out tonight. Like he's immediately not playing again, but he just only played in that game because he felt he should. I genuinely don't like Gudis and think he's an asshole, but I think just as a general respect, like man for man respect, like you're tough as fucking nails for doing that.
Well, I wonder if he thought coming in, getting that first fight against Domi, I wonder if he was thinking all right, let me just lose this and then hopefully it's going to diffuse the situation. And then it did not work. I think
that was definitely part of it. And then he was just getting accosted the entire second period, and he's probably like, screw this.
He's like, fuck,
I'm done.
I'm done.
I paid my dues. What I found interesting is that this is just generally becoming a rivalry. At the end of the game, Leo Carlsson says he feels they should have beaten the Leafs, that team, by 3 goals tonight. And it's embarrassing that they lost. What I have to say that is fuck you, Leo. You laid on the ice and cried like you just broke your ankle, and you came back in 5 minutes later. So we don't need another Stützle, buddy. We also are, I believe, 9-2 in the last 11 times we've played you. So suck my ass. and have fun choking the Atlantic and losing in the first round of Vegas.
Choking the Atlantic. That's good.
Pacific, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Having fun choking the Pacific to the Draisaitl-less Oilers. You scrub.
In other news,
Cale Makar is expected to miss time after I think it was an upper body injury. He's out tonight, and they're getting waxed by Vancouver, so they need him back. And,
I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
I know he'll be back for the playoffs, so it's not that serious. Feels like they're just resting him for the rest of the season. It's had a bit of year, busy year. I mean, the Olympics and everything.
If there's a team, San Jose tied it. If there's a team to rest against, it's Vancouver, or so you would think.
Yep, I don't disagree. David Juracek extends 2 years, 1.5 AAV with the Philadelphia Flyers. They acquired him for Bobby Brink at the deadline. I actually don't believe he's playing. I don't know for sure. Do you know if he's playing?
Where is he, Philly? I'll check the lines.
Yeah, so he is not playing. I don't believe is in the NHL either. So yeah, I mean, clearly they plan on him coming up next year, I guess. I mean, I feel like this is now the third team that's tried to develop him. I don't know. It just feels like he's a general bust. I like that trade a lot for Minnesota, even though they gave up a lot for Juracek last year. Just got objectively fleeced. I think they did a pretty good job. I think Brink's a really good fit in Minnesota. I really like Brink as a player. I think he's a good middle six guy, and he's young. He's controllable. And they're going to need that because if you're going to extend Hughes, it's probably Kaprizov level money. So going to need to save elsewhere. And now we removed this from being an actual section after predicting all the games last week. It had just been 3 days and just not enough had happened across the league for us to justify this being a segment on its own. So this is kind of where we've included the wild card update. So first, the Bruins are beginning to solidify the first wild card and potentially enter themselves into the top three in the
Dude, we're a wagon. We're a
wagon. You guys are
wagon.
on fire. I can't lie.
We're a wagon. I mean, look at our last 3 games.
Boys cooking.
Look at the last 3 games. Kill the Wild, come back against Columbus, and then kill Dallas.
Yep. I mean, yeah. You guys are just playing some of the best hockey you've played all year, and you're doing it at the right time. I think, unfortunately for you, the top other 3 teams in the Atlantic are also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're kind of running it's going to be difficult for you to get into the top 3. But I think what you've certainly done is basically lock up playoffs. That's not really a concern anymore. Which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, as a professional Bruins hater, I'm a fan of this. I'm a really big fan of this. Tony and I had I actually think one of our better, just genuine debates with no anger involved than we've had in a while. Unfortunately, not on the pod, but just about me saying I feel the Bruins would have been better had they not been good this year and gone more of the continued rebuild route / retool route. And Tony obviously disagreeing and arguing the latter, saying that they should have been or that they're competing, and he believes that they can fix that. Like, this team can eventually win a cup. Won't get to and won't really get back into that, but I think, I don't know, as a Bruins hater, I'm happy with this because I don't see you guys winning the cup, and I'm totally fine if we give you pick 13 and you guys end up with pick 17. I would have or pick 20. I would have no issue with that. I feel in this draft class that's not likely giving you an A+ blue chip prospect, and which it was looking like it was heading towards you guys acquiring, and could have acquired multiple if you were bad. And so personally as a fan of this, obviously you can agree to disagree, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to speak too much on it. I just for the podcast, the purpose of having my words on recording, I think this core is headed in the correct direction. I think we're like a couple trades away from being a true contender in the next 2 years, and I think we got our guys already. Honestly, I think Hagen's Minton past McAvoy Swayman can get it done. I think that core of guys can get it done with pieces around them. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, I will say I don't think this year's our year. I agree on that. I don't think we're gonna. I think we can maybe win a round, maybe 2 if we end up in the Metro like it looks like we are right now. So I could see us in the conference finals. I just don't think we'll go past there. But it's definitely building towards next year. Anyway,
yeah.
Continuing about the Metro.
The Capitals and Flyers, man, they just continue to win. they continue to climb. The Capitals now have won 3 in a row. They beat Philadelphia last night, and now Philly. So Columbus has 88 points as we talk tonight, with as a second wild card, and then Detroit, and Ottawa and Philly all have 86, and Washington has 85. So they've gotten themselves back in the race. They're right there.
I mean, like
I honestly could.
Been,
I mean, I predicted this to happen for Washington. I just didn't think it would happen so late. I actually thought the John Carlson trade was going to light a fire under them. I thought that they had a good young team, and I think Cole Hudson coming in as the Carlson replacement has been a big help. Like, they've really started to win since he took over that power play again. Not again, but took over that power play. And so I don't know. I see them way more than Philly, and honestly maybe more than Detroit at this time. Like now, I think it's down to Ottawa, Washington, and Columbus, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Because I definitely don't see Philly. And I think you agree with me and you don't see Philly. Like I don't see them winning enough important games down the stretch.
I think
I don't. Okay. First of all, I don't think I guess I don't think the Capitals are going to make it, but if I had to rank them, I would put them 2.
Ooh, okay.
Behind Ottawa.
Okay.
But I think all the teams out, I think, are going to miss at this point. I know you predicted Penguins were going to drop out for Ottawa, but I don't know. They've won enough. I think they won the first 2 games, and we predicted them to lose both of them. And like they're just 4 points higher than we immediately thought they were going to be. And so I don't see them falling out of the playoffs now. And so it really is down to Columbus and Ottawa. It feels like maybe the Islanders, because I think the Islanders are only at 89. So it really feels like it's down to those 3 for the last spot.
Yeah, I don't see a world where Columbus falls out.
I don't either, but I think that's why I say the Islanders are in it, because I do see very much a world where they jump the Islanders, and the Islanders are now competing in the wild card at the very end. I mean, we kind of touched on this, but the Sens and Red Wings. The Sens are playing okay, but not great. Allmark didn't look good. Lost to Florida last night. But the Red Wings just continue to free fall. They lose to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're just not playing very well right now, and I don't know, man. I really think Yzerman should be fired for this, assuming they miss. All signs feel like they're pointing in that direction, and I think it's time for a new voice in there. I really do like the prospect core they have, but I just think the lack of aggressiveness and lack of willing to go get a Noah Dobson, or I use that as an example that Montreal went and did, or even a Quinn Hughes to a lesser extent, like the teams that were in the general same tier as them for a while just made bigger moves and
and I would say that
on the table more than they did.
Yeah, and I'd say that Detroit needed a Noah Dobson much more than Montreal.
Did. I certainly.
And you had the pieces to get it.
Or a Robert Thomas. I really think that that was the move. You know?
Yeah. I think he was just very much have patience.
Let it develop.
But
I feel like there's it's a decade
no
now,
more patience. Yeah, I think there's
a decade now. If you miss, it's officially a decade. The time for patience and letting people develop arguably ended 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Definitely ended in first year, in my opinion, when they were in the wild card for most of the year and then fell out in the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks. Definitely that year it started.
Yeah.
But we kind of mentioned this, but the Penguins are healthy again after being very injured, literally 4 days ago. And they look good. They win again.
They were on a skid.
I think you and I are kind of in agreements. I think their forward core and they're getting better goaltending than they probably should is making up for the dog shit D core and Erik Karlsson turning back the clock now. But I think they're gonna make the playoffs too at this point. Pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
It's crazy what literally 2 games can do at this point in the year.
The last points. It will just probably come down to the last 3 games of the year for who makes it and who doesn't.
Yes, it will. And now switching to the West, the LA Kings are now officially on the cusp of the wild card too. The Predators have slowed down, kind of as I think Antonio and I expected. And the Kings are right there. Man, do we need that? Would love that Lawton pick to become a second by them making the playoffs. That would be a very nice addition. I mean, that's a whole 32 spots higher by them just simply making the playoffs. So, I don't know what else to say. That's that. The Jets and Blues as well continue to push really hard here in the West. I think those are the 2 most intriguing teams. On the flip side of that, it's because the Kraken and Sharks just continue to free fall. they continue to struggle. And no, good. Seattle, it's not surprising. San Jose, it's not surprising because they just don't have enough pieces there yet. I think they've clearly shown that this core can win cups, man. Like Celebrini's a dog.
Yeah.
He's going to be the C at some point here. He's going to take over. He has taken over. And I think once you get a few more guys in there, plus probably make a trade or two, plus legitimate activity in free agency now. I think the fact that they're falling off should not be like as a Sharks fan, I think you really still take this as a massive dub of a year.
I mean, I feel really what it is in the early parts of the seasons, it's easy for like one really good player to just kind of get through people. Whereas like now in this part of the season, like
every team's playing with the whistles on the line every game.
Like, the whistle's going away a little bit. You're seeing it get a little bit more rough, and it's harder for one guy to do it all. Like that's just what it is. And so his impact is going to be a little bit less. And
agree.
There we have it.
But yeah, the Jets just, I don't know. They were just off. Like something wasn't right at the start of the year because like, even if you look from like December on, they would be in the wild card in this. Like if they'd been playing, if you excluded like the first 2-3 months of the season, they would just simply be in the wild card race. And so I think like that's arguably the best team on paper, given that it's the year 2026, Nashville. They're probably the best team on paper, but without the Kings, without Fiala, they're probably the best team on paper, but I don't know. They're just really far back, and there's a lot of teams they need to pass. The Blues are kind of the same. I think I kind of overestimated my hype for them a little bit last episode when I didn't realize just exactly how many teams they have to pass to get to the wild card. And so, that is all I got for the wild card update and just general recent news.
Yeah, honestly, it's just every game matters at this point, so it's just keeping track. And speaking of, I keep checking over. I'm sorry, I pause every now and then because I'm checking over to see what's happening in that San Jose Anaheim game. It's very captivating for me.
But it's 7 players involved.
3-2 Anaheim. Brock Besser is a hat trick, which is huge. I'm up to 84 points. Yeah.
And Hronek got another assist.
Yep.
Oh, you're actually low-key doing enough. Sorry, guys. This is a little live podcast. Oh, actually, you're still down 36.
Yeah. But
and if
the night's not over. Night's not over.
You basically need Dostal to lose or for you to get 2 or 3 more points as a team.
Yeah.
For it to do what you were hoping.
Ideally, like an Orlov goal here would be kind of nice, from Wenberg.
That would be a double whammy. Yeah.
From Wenberg, and then
them getting points on a tying goal.
Yeah,
would be money for you.
All right. Anyway, let's keep her going. Our next segment here is going to be one that we are premiering. We are going to do a collective Sporcle quiz. And the quiz we are doing is, I will show the title. There are ads. We apologize. But NHL top scores by calendar year in the 2020s by MROM.
So this is, for those of you, Antonio, not going to lie, took us a second to understand it. But basically, it's not the 2022-23 season. It's not the seasons like that. It's just January 1st of 2023 to December 31st of 2023. How many points did they accumulate in that time frame? Obviously, that's the majority of actually, it's not really. It's kind of 50-50 of the previous season and that year's season. So, but I mean, the players are still generally good. We know who's who. We're trying out something new. We're kind of running out of ideas. There's not much to talk about that we haven't already talked about. So trying something new. Let us know what you guys think. Let's get into it.
And if you're listening on the podcast, if you want to check out the live video of us doing this, we are on YouTube at Fantasy Hockey Pucks. So you can see us kind of filling it out. It has we have the graphic pulled up here with all the teams and years of the players, and we'll get her going. We got 11
minutes. Before we start, we got to discuss strategy a little bit. I think for general viewing purposes, I think it's best if we just go in order, starting with the first guy in 2025. It's probably a little slower, but just go through and get them all and then move on if you can't get them.
I agree. And then we'll
beautiful.
I will.
I mean, you're gonna put a name in here, and McDavid's gonna go on every single one of these years.
Yeah.
So it won't be as painstaking. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So we have 11 minutes on the clock. They are 60 names for us. Oh wait, no, it's more than that. How much is it every year? That looks like 20, I think. 20 a year ish.
Yeah, it's 20. I counted. It's 20 per year.
Okay, so we got 120 people to name. Oh, well, it says right there. That
Because
would
it's
be
just
helpful.
divided by 6. Yeah, I know.
Well, or the score just says it right here. Yeah. And we have 11 minutes. All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right. Avs leader for 2025. That's McKinnon. Followed by a Lightning. That's Kucherov. Followed by an Oiler. That's McDavid. Followed by a Bruin. That's Pasta. Look at him go, man.
Yep.
Followed by another Oiler Dry.
I can spell, I swear.
A Star. That's probably Robertson.
Yep.
San Jose Celebrini. Let him cook, man. Suzuki, probably first Montreal. Second, Dallas. Rantanen, probably.
Ooh, really?
Not even there. Oh, because he
Okay,
would
so
have said it says Carolina. You're right. So it's Johnston. Yeah. Damn.
Damn, he's been electric.
Kyle Connor. Oh, because Connor was so good last year.
Yeah.
The calendar year. That's why. Rangers, Panarin. Avs.
Why do they not have that as Rangers
as
LA?
BC.
He wasn't traded.
Oh, it's 2025.
Yeah.
Colorado, that's Nietzsche's. Oh,
no.
McCarr.
Oh, right. Damn.
Marner.
Vegas. Marner.
Yes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I can't see the teams anymore, so you got to read them out.
Oh,
actually, I have it pulled up here myself.
Okay, yeah. We're good. Minnesota.
That's Kaprizov. Yeah. Another Winnipeg. Oh, we got.
It's not.
Oh, it's Boldy. It's probably Boldy.
Boldy. Wow.
We got Hughes too, and Kaprizov elsewhere. Vegas. That's probably Eichel.
Yeah.
And that's Keller, because Keller was filth last year.
Okay, now we go to Florida. That's probably Barkov, Kachuk, no? Not Barkov. Okay.
Ooh.
Kachuk?
Kachuk for sure.
Okay, and then
probably
Bennett? No.
Rhino. It's Ryan Hurt, probably.
I thought he's not like a point scorer, though. Damn.
He was really good
wrong.
that year.
All right, Tampa, point. Toronto.
Yep.
Matthews.
Toronto, that's Matthews.
Woo!
Oh, it's Nylander. Yeah, it's Nylander.
Right.
It's Nylander because he was filthy. He was filthy last year at the start, especially.
Devils,
that's Hughes.
Yes.
Lightning.
No,
it's not. Oh, it's Bratt. Probably.
Yeah. Tampa.
Lightning, probably.
Gensel?
No, because he wasn't a Lightning
he was
then.
somewhere else.
Although Gensel's elsewhere on this list. Hagel. It was Hagel.
Oh, yes.
He was so good at the start of 2024. Yeah.
Damn.
Vancouver, all right. Now switching over to Canucks. That is Miller for sure is one of them. And probably Petey, because I think 2022 was when he really cooked at the end of 2022.
Yeah. Damn.
All
okay,
right.
Ottawa, Stützle?
Yes. Oh, damn, yo.
And then we have Edmonton against RNH.
Yo, yeah.
Oh my god, I can't spell. Help.
I actually can't.
Minutes.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, we're chilling, bro. We're almost on the top row, and we're.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down?
Rangers. Yeah. Okay.
That Ranger probably Zibanejad.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, now it gets harder.
Well, that's Johnny Gaudreau. Shout out, R.I.P. Because
I didn't know he cooked like that, bro.
Yeah, he did a 100-point season. All right, another Lightning guy. Is that Stamkos? 2022, it probably is.
Wow, yeah. Minnesota, LA, Fiala? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had 100 points, like, calendar year.
Florida, Calgary, Huberdeau, the GOAT.
Tager. Okay.
Yep.
96 for Boston, that's Marchand.
Boston, yeah. 92 for Washington is probably Ovi. 2021. Yeah, I think this was the year. OGs of the podcast. Remember, Antonio predicted the Ovechkin fall off, and I mean, it just simply did not happen.
Yeah,
it just went off, as you can see. Chicago, that's probably Kane. It's 2021. That's probably Kane.
Damn.
You're Vegas at 84 in 2021. Stone or Pacioretty?
Okay.
No, Stone or Pacioretty?
Stone.
Yeah.
And Tavares?
82 Toronto, that's Tavares. Yeah, we've done all the other ones. All right. Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's the year that Malkin cooked. Yeah.
Oh, it's W memory. Okay, I can't see. Scroll down. Scroll down.
Sorry. Okay, we're on to our last
that's
three
good.
here.
Last
We're
three.
making
Oh, we got
nasty
6
stuff.
minutes left. We're killing it. All right, Florida, who cooked before the Kachuk era,
Ekblad?
could be
No.
Verhage.
Oh,
E.
I-
Yeah, there's an E. There's an E. Yeah. Nope. Yo, Duclair? Was the Duke that good?
no way. There's simply not a chance.
Okay, yeah.
Who
Yo, who else was on
else?
that team? Was like a good for Hoffman or Dodonov? I guarantee you it's one of those two.
Oh, what a pull, Mike Hoffman.
That was when we were in grade 9 doing fantasy, bro. And I remember I traded Hoffman, Yandel, and Dodonov, the three of them, because they were all doing way better than they should have. And I packaged them for a Kucherov trade. I just remember thinking I was the literal GOAT.
All right, I'm stuck. I got Taves for Chicago. Who's the last one for Winnipeg?
Taster Scott, Winnipeg. It's probably Blake Wheeler.
Ah, yes. Damn.
Bang!
Baby.
It's just like that. The boys get all 120. Now, granted, like pretty sure there was probably 6 McDavids on this. There's probably 5 Matthews on this. 4
Yeah.
Matthews, maybe.
Yeah.
Similar for Marner, similar for Dry. Like, so there's a lot of carryover. But still.
Yeah, let us know if you guys want
Let
to
us
see
know,
us
if you
do it
like
again.
this. If you want to see us try another one, try some other form of, like, feel free to give us a quiz. Doesn't even necessarily have to be hockey related. I mean, we'd prefer it. But especially in the off season, we know stuff gets boring. So if you have suggestions, again, let us know. Follow us on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Pucks. Follow us on TikTok at FHP_pod or on YouTube at Fantasy Hockey Pucks. Feel free to DM us on all those platforms. Reach out. We'll answer. We want this to be as interactive as possible.
100%. All right, you know what time it is now. It's time for the FHP Panic Room. We're back again. We're going to give you guys one player each, and we're going to have a little discussion and then do our ratings for how panicked we are about both players who have been seemingly having a down season for one reason or another.
Yes, sir. All right, you want to go first or me? I'll go first. All right, first guy I have is unfortunately a guy that I traded for at the deadline, but was not the main piece that I was acquiring in the deal. And that is Ryan O'Reilly. He, over his last 10 games, or not 10, but over his last 7 games, he has 5 points. Not bad. But over the last 30 days, he only has 9 points. Doesn't have a point in his last 3 games. He had a big 2 assist game. He's had 2 multi-point games in his last 10. That's it. He has a point in 1 of the game. He's only recorded a point in 3 of his last 10. The Predators are cooling down, but even when they were hot, he really wasn't doing that much. Like, it really was like Stamkos, Yossi, Forsberg, Marchessault more leading it. Obviously, some of that is just unlucky. Like, he's on the ice for these power play goals. He's on the ice when Stamkos scores. Like, that's his line mate. So obviously part of it is just luck. But to what extent are you like, this is unlucky, before you're like, I need to just drop him, the season's on the line? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think at this point in the season, it's kind of like all bets are off. Like, it depends.
It's kind of what can you do for me now, not what have you done for me, is exactly why he's
especially
here.
In,
he's
like,
the perfect definition of that.
Especially in redraft leagues.
In any league,
I don't know.
Really. I think even in a dynasty league, you don't get afraid.
I think, that's true, actually. Especially because of his age. But I think it really depends what's on your wire. Like, for us right now, there are definitely players that I would pick up for Ryan O'Reilly right now. Like, I think there are guys there, especially in your league, if you have guys that are just red hot, like a guy like Pavel Zacha, if he's still there for some reason. Victor Arvidsson's been nasty.
Igor Chinnikov, he's still out there in an insane amount of leagues. Anton Frundell is another guy. He's cooking. He's about
Cole Hudson.
His career. Jordan Spence. Jordan Spence is taking over. He scored in back-to-back games. Like, he looks really, really good. Like, if any of those guys are available, I'm not afraid to drop him for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are just hot there that,
Now, if you've won your week, I would say if you've won your week, I know it's wet. It's Thursday when you guys are listening to this, so it's hard to know because it's only been 3 of 7 days. Yeah. But you can get a general feel. And I would not drop him if you feel comfortable. But if you are in any way, shape, or form not in a good spot, I don't think holding Ryan O'Reilly to try and, like, I don't think he's going to be valuable enough rest of season to just cost you your season. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's definitely someone I'm dropping. And he's also not good enough that like your league mates are going to be like, that's bullshit. Like you can't drop that guy, you know, like if you were to theoretically drop like Kucherov because he doesn't play on Sunday. And so, yeah, I would say, but I don't know. I don't think I'm panicked enough to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to stream him because that's more valuable than owning him. But yeah. What about you?
Like I still think he is worth it for like the possibility of him scoring well for a start. So I think it truly is dependent on where your team's at right now. Like, well, first of all, I should say if your team's out, like if this is if you're in a dynasty league and you're like about to get you're getting smashed or you're already out of the playoffs, this guy probably should
drop
him.
Yeah.
I'll start there.
That's for starters. Yeah.
And then if you're on a team that like you're getting beat in the league, but you think you can come back, I wouldn't hesitate to drop him. But if you're, again, like you said, if you're a team that is up pretty big, like I think he's still worth a hold.
I agree. So I'd say for me, it slots him in about a 7, I would say.
Yeah.
And I would say for me personally, if I'm calling it an 8 to 8.5 or above, that's drop territory for me. So that tells you how close I am to just being ready to drop him, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, he's a guy that like I picked up mid-season this year because he was just cooking so hard, and then he kind of kept that going. But yeah, obviously he's slowed down now. I don't know. If I was in your situation, he'd probably already be dropped, if I'm honest, because I'm very desperate. But again, that's the difference between a team that's behind and a team that's in front.
Yes,
Shut up. The guy for me that I'm bringing into the panic room. He's my good buddy. Not really, but he was on my team for like almost a full year. Connor McMichael. Here's a guy that, he's a young guy, so this is not so much as like you probably don't own him at this point in the year because he's just not been good this year. But I'll lay out the scene for you. Okay, so last year he was a guy that had 57 points in 82 games. This year he's at 39 points in 71, on pace for around 45. And I don't really know how to feel about him. I'm genuinely here because I'm kind of like, do we think he's going to come back? Like Washington's like had a bad year. Yes. They aren't as successful as they were last year. Pieces around him have been moving around, but do we think his value as a player is like enough for him to bounce back? Is he worth an ad for those teams that are outside the playoffs right now? That are looking to stack their season for next year. I don't
see it. I don't see it. To be valuable in fantasy hockey for starters, you basically have to be a top 6 player. Like you can, in certain situations, be a third liner and make it work, but most of the time you have to be a top 6 player. He's a primary center, and he's not going to be played over Dubois or Strome, like when they're both fully healthy. That's their 1-2 C's down the middle. Yeah. Now he can play on the wing for sure. But so let's say over your tires, I think Protas, Wilson, Leonard are 3 for sure that are just above him on the wingers. That leaves one last spot. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to assume either they sign someone
or like
can fill in that role, or Sortif, or Ilya Protas, Alexi's brother, comes up and they play him in the top 6, or Tarek Parasek comes up and they play him in the top 6, or I can't think of any of their other prospects. Andrew Cristal comes out and plays in the top 6. Like, I just feel like there are more exciting people that they can put in that position. I kind of know what McMichael is. I think he regressed again after last year, and last year feels kind of like a blip. And I think he's definitely headed to the path where he's stuck on the third line. And I don't think they'd be afraid to use him as a trade chip if someone feels he can be a nice reclamation project. And as I'm actually saying this, do not hate it for Toronto one bit.
I don't think,
because I'm not even saying this because I don't believe in the player. I actually just don't see a role for him to be fantasy successful on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, part of that is he's not been good enough, but like, I think that they're also, the Capitals are in a pretty good spot and have a lot of guys who are going to be pushing the roster soon.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm in a place where I'm like, my issue is like, I like him as a player. I also generally, my rule of thumb for fantasy teams is to draft based off skill, not off position. I mean, off of like usage, which obviously you need both to be a good fantasy player. But like, for my long-term goals for dynasty, I prefer to hold skill over utilization. But yeah, I agree. Like, I really don't just see a path forward for him in Washington. Like, there's just guys that
Yeah. And like,
you'd prefer
obviously,
to play.
I agree with you. Like, you want talent on your team because obviously talent is going to eventually work. But I also think like you do have to take a look ahead and be like, yeah, all those guys in the top 6, he's not long-term passing either. And so I think, or I mean, I guess there is a flip side where no prospect comes up and that just second line left wing spot is his. But I think with how centers are so like valuable and there's so few of them, I just feel they put him at 3C because that's a strength, having him as your 3C.
Yeah, true.
And so I don't see him putting him on the wing when they like every team needs centers, like, you know?
Yeah. All right. So what's your overall like panic rating or like your level of like, I guess it's like kind of the reverse. Like,
I guess I say that he's like playing on the first line right now with fucking Stroman.
Yeah, but that was sort of like a week ago. Like they've just been switching them out. Yeah, so like, what is your? I guess
that's protest.
The higher the number, the less likely to pick them up and hold them, and then like the lower number would be like, yeah, I think you should go out there and pick them up and hold them for next season. Where are you at?
I would say I'm like an 8. Like he's just does not intrigue me. I feel like I'm trying to think. Like sort of intrigues me more than he does.
Okay, that's interesting to me. I'd say I'm closer to a 6. I would say he interests me more than sort of, but like a guy like Leonard or a guy like Protest interests me more than him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Leonard and Wilson, Protest. I prefer all those guys over him.
But I think you have him level up. Well, just because like look at sort of having a season like sort of like last year. Mike.
Well, I mean, I think they're the same age.
No.
Oh no, sort of a year younger. But like,
McMichael had a year where he put up 57 points and sort of put up 32.
Like for sure, I just feel like he's gonna play 3C. Like they have sort of actually at 3C right now, but I just feel like he's gonna be their 3C, especially if they bring in more prospects because he's not a traditional third line center, which means they can almost just roll without actually having a third line.
Yeah.
Like they roll like 2 second lines basically, and like they'd have like a PLD Wilson, like a Beauvillier line that's more heavy, and then a like McMichael sort of Ilya Protest line that's more skill based. And I mean, like that could work, but I don't see the upside on this team or even just the player in general to be holding him, in my opinion. Like there's just, I feel like for the majority of teams, you're not going to have a player you could cut for him.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's kind of like for me, like I might, like I'm saying this, I am on the edge of potentially picking him up if I get eliminated here because 24
but that's also because your team is like, but your team's in the middle of a retool, which means you have your good players, both young and a little older, but then you have no depth yet. So it's easier for you to hold.
Yeah.
Because like, bro, half your bench is just stream players, like players that have no next year
Jason
value.
Zucker,
Landeskog, Zuriko. I know you dropped a bunch of them. Like Ardvison, I'd include in that too.
Yep.
Sean Walker, like there's a bunch. So yeah, I don't. That fair for you, but I think unless you're in a situation like that where you have no depth on your team, he's probably not the guy.
Yeah, I do think he's worth a watch at the start of next year, though, because if he does get a top 6 role.
For sure. Like if he is a consistent top 6 guy, I think with his speed and skill and the talent in that top 6, he's a guy that can be very fantasy relevant. That's exactly what happened when he scored 50 points last year. Yeah. They had McMichael, Dubois, Wilson, and it was cooking. And then they tried that again to start the year. He wasn't working. And then PLD was hurt. And then then they tried him at 2C. He wasn't working there. And then he just really kind of struggled.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what time it is. What's on your mind? Okay. So yeah, do you want to get us going here? So what is on your mind?
I will get us going. So first, obviously, we touched a ton on the Leafs here in this last episode, but we're going back to them. To be quite frank, for those of you, holy shit. Sometimes I do this, man, where I like have 6 different ways I want to start it, or like I plan on starting it somewhere, and then I'm like, ooh, no, this would be better. Ooh, no, this would be better, and then I end up doing that. As I was going to say, I feel that the Toronto Blue Jays, especially after their run last year, have just captivated the city and take them by storm. And I think a big reason they do that is that they're fun. They hold each other accountable. They have a great culture. They have a culture that involves winning and isn't so serious and corporate. And I just feel like the organization has done a good job both renovating the stadium to be more very fan friendly, be a very fan family experience. And the team and the culture that they've built is one that resides within pretty much every team. Like, this is the kind of team that takes over the city for a decade and is a dynasty for a decade. By absolutely no means am I saying the Blue Jays are a dynasty, but these are the type of teams that take over cities that way. And my question is, what is so different about the Blue Jays compared to the Leafs? Like, obviously the Leafs are culture are very like toxic and all that, but yeah.
Can I give you a short answer? I think part of it is like you got Vladdy, like the Vladdy Austin comparison is really a part of it. Like, look at when Vladdy wasn't performing as well. It wasn't as like the Jays weren't as big in Toronto. Then all of a sudden he's having like an MVP-esque season and they're huge. And obviously it helps that they went to the World Series. Like, success does help.
I mean, not glad it's them winning the World Series. Vlad wasn't even that good last year, dog. He was pretty mid. Like, his best season, the year he was an MVP, was like right in the prime of the Leafs being elite, and nobody cared. They won a lot, and their team that wins a lot, and their team that like wins a lot in like a very endearing way. Like,
yeah, I would say like if last year you guys went to the Western Conference Championship. Sorry, that's what I meant. That's
yeah, for sure. I mean, the Leafs, listen, the city cares more about the Leafs when push comes to shove.
Yeah.
I agree it's success, but I think a big part of it is that people are starting to realize like the culture and like everything on MLS. I think a big reason is MLSE owns the Leafs and Rogers owns the Jays. Like, I think MLSE from the top down is an organization that cares more about making money than they do about winning. Like, even in the press conference today, they talked about getting back in the playoffs because they make a net revenue or net profit of 10 mil per game. Like, they literally said that word for word in the press conference. Like, how is that something that you could possibly say when fans already are so livid at how expensive you make everything?
It's what the stakeholders wanted to hear.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think MLSE is the core problem of this, because MLSE from the top down cares more about making money than winning. And I think Rogers made it pretty clear by offering Shohei Ohtani $600 million. They care significantly more about winning than they do about making money.
Yeah, I mean,
they invested $100 million to make the best like complex in the entire league. Like, the Blue Jays having $100 million sports complex in Dunedin, Florida, that is literally for growing their team and prospects. And it's the number one in the entire sport. And like, Toronto can't even make a fucking drumstick $3. Like, it's just absurd, bro.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to change that. They're not going to change ownership. So it's,
I know, but that's why I just
want downside to having a
well, I mean, but like, it wasn't, but like when Shanahan and Dubas were running it and MLSE was not involved at all, think about 5 years ago, no one was talking, like, people are like, yeah, Toronto can't get it done, but it wasn't that it was a rotten culture that nobody wanted to be a part of. You know, that wasn't necessarily the issue. It was just they can't get it done. But it was like, I mean, this is, listen, a team that wins a lot, that wins all the time. They win tons of individual accolades. Like, that was never the issue. And now I feel like since MLSE started to take over more, that's become a massive issue. And honestly, back when, this is according to my dad, because I wasn't paying attention, but like in the early 2000s, it was literally called the blue and white fever, where like players would come play in Toronto, and it would be all about like a corporation, more of a business than a hockey team. And they would just kind of stop caring about the hockey, and much like organization, just care about the paycheck. And it's the fact that it's a job and not that it's a sport. And I think that that's a really big difference, really big difference. Like, you're in the entertainment industry, you're not a businessman.
Well, I feel like part of that, I feel like part of that's got to be on leadership too, though.
I don't disagree with you. I think Matthews is definitely part of that, which is why I'm not necessarily think it's the worst idea trading him. I think you can still build a cup winning team around Matthews, and I think it's still possible. And I actually think it's way more possible with Marner gone to build a cup winning team around him. But I don't.
Can we? Is it time to talk about the fact that they shouldn't have stripped Tavares?
Well, yeah, they did that for money. They did that so they could sell 34 jerseys with a C on it instead of the A. Like I say, that was done. I'm telling you, that was done. So MLC could make more money off Matthews being captain, and they could market him more because he's more marketable than Tavares.
I feel
that's
like,
all they cared about.
Yeah, but I feel like with the C on his jersey,
it was a horrible decision to begin with. Why the fuck did you ever think stripping the guy who you gave it to was a good idea to begin with?
Yeah, like, it makes no sense. You never see that. You never see a guy that stays on the team.
Literally, the only time that happened was Blake Wheeler when Winnipeg stripped him, and they didn't name anyone else. They just stripped him and said, we don't feel this team has a leader adequate enough to be considered a captain.
Yeah. But Tavares was a guy that could be the captain.
And like also as the captain of the Leafs, you're required to do like there's a fucking list of shit that you have to do in the community and for MLSC as the captain of the Leafs. Yeah. And like, it was so much easier when you would like Tavares did that. Tavares was the one who had to focus on that and you just let Matthews focus on being the best player. Yeah. And like just hockey. And I don't know. I don't disagree with you. But I also think a big part of it is I think Berube really, really neutered Matthews. Like, I think whether it's in a Leaf uniform or somewhere else, if he goes to a coach that is more offense oriented again, he will score 40 or 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
He may not be a 100-point player, but like he will score I'm very confident. If you give him an offensive minded coach, he's scoring 40 to 50 for sure, with very much potential to go above that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he definitely has the ability still. And I don't know
why I think like getting rid of Riley's big. I think clearing house on all staff is really big because I think, and then you can discuss trading Matthews, but I think there are plenty of ways to change the culture without necessarily trading Matthews.
Yeah, but I feel like you then also, there's a danger. There's a danger there. Like if you do get rid of Matthews, that you kind of lose like that momentum that you've had since he was drafted, really. Like when he was drafted, it was a lot of excitement in Toronto, and then he comes in, has a nasty rookie season. You add Tavares, and since basically,
well, yeah, Tavares, it's been a decade, but like that's what happens. Like
I know, but I was just saying, there's the danger if you lose Matthews of just kind of going back to no man's land where they were before that draft.
Like I don't think so. I think you're way more at risk of going into no man's land by keeping him. Because what if he comes back and he's just okay again next year? Yeah, and he's right at point per game player who scores 35 goals. Like all of a sudden you're now stuck in no man's land, and you're like, well, we have this guy who's making $13 million, who has 1 year left on his deal, who's probably going to leave, and we're forced to sell him for pennies on the dollar. And now you're just forced to go into a really, really big rebuild because you're fucked. Whereas like I think you can trade him now and get multiple A+ prospects, Tidja Ginlin, Caleb Denwaier, or like Cutter Gauthier, or like you can get some players like that, like a Will Smith in pieces, or Sam Dickinson in pieces. Like you can get big prospects and multiple of them if you trade him now, because he's 2 years left and he's only 28 and his value is still incredibly high. Whereas I think one more year of this with only 1 year left at 13 mil, you're getting nothing. Like look at the Panarin trade. Now, I'm not saying it'd be that bad, but it would be not very good. Yeah, which is why I just think
pushing 30. Yeah,
like Tampa did it. Now, they did it earlier with like the Sergachevs and like they would have done it. Like you would have traded Riley like 2 or 3 years ago, and you would have traded Marner 2 years ago, and like it wasn't working, and like that was all previous mistakes. But that's why I think you have to trade one of them, bro. They can't just all leave for nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
That's true. All right, enough of beating a dead horse. Then
I agree. I certainly agree.
Let's move on. Our next what's on your mind topic here is we're gonna have a little discussion about, we're coming to the end of the season here, who our favorite players have been on our teams and off our teams. So we'll do 3 of each.
Okay, I'm doing just like general. Like I'm not saying necessarily based on this season, because I would not say the Leafs order would be the same if I'm basing it off this year alone.
Okay, no, but like, I mean, yeah, there's going to be
your favorite player in general. Okay, yeah.
Like,
that's fine.
As we're coming to the end of the season,
I guess, yeah. I was just clarifying to make sure that like we were on the same page. And
but I mean, like my favorite players off the team are probably going to be
heavily influenced by
this season.
Yeah, obviously. Do you want to go first? Me?
I feel like you have your ideas kind of sorted. I'll let you go first.
Sure. All right. So I'll do my three favorite Leafs right now. And I'm probably going to throw in a few honorable mentions at the end, to be honest, just because there's like so many who I feel very like similarly about. But first is Matthews. I mean, like he's our franchise's best player ever. He's who I've grown up watching. Like he's the core Leafs I've grown up watching. Like it's just very, very clearly and very obvious, in my opinion, why it's him. I don't really think that requires too much of an explanation. Second is Nylander. I'm a big fan of his personality. I know there's a lot of people in Toronto who don't like it. I really think his personality is how you were successful in this league, or especially in this league, but especially in Toronto. And I mean, he's a stylish dude. Like he's just filthy. And he got one of the best strip games in the league. Like he's nasty. I love him. He's filthy. And the final guy is Tavares. A big reason is like, I generally like to pride myself on someone who's pretty good puck knowledge just by watching and like generally evaluating players. And I've always felt Tavares has been underrated and overhated because people don't think he was worth his contract. And I actually think with that now contract being over, I would do that 100 out of 100 times again. Like obviously we didn't win a cup, but like I'm sure in some simulation in this world that core wins a cup. Like it goes right. COVID doesn't happen and the cap doesn't stagnate. Something and the team is fine and wins a cup. But I just feel that I've always liked Tavares more because I felt he's always been underrated. And I'm like, look at his stats, man. He just produces. And then a few honorable mentions like Nyes, really like him, but just not been on the team long enough. Cowan, same thing, really grown on me. And Wonderwall. Always been a big fan of him. Like his personality seems like just a really nice guy. And he's got that dry, unintentional sense of humor where he's like unintentionally funny because he's just kind of shy and dry, but it comes off as like really funny.
I mean, that's a solid list there. I'm sure Leafs fans can sympathize with that. Me personally,
Riley used to be up there, man. He fell off. I hate him.
Understandably. I guess for me, I'm in like a different place than you were because when I was growing up, the guys who I watched that I loved were Bergeron, Marchand. Like
I grew up with them. Like they were, as I started paying attention to hockey in middle school, was when they came up.
I know. So I'm like kind of in a different spot. I didn't I kind of lost like Bergeron and Marchand in back-to-back seasons. I feel like that's like, oh, dude. Like, you know, how do you know you're in the good times?
Could lose Marner and Matthews in back-to-back seasons. So I feel you.
Yeah. Almost brings a tear to my eye, dude. I fucking thought I had so much more time with Marchand. That guy is probably still we'll get to there. But on the Bruins, favorite player, probably McAvoy right now. I'm fucking tearing up. Probably Charlie McAvoy. He's just been like watching him battle back against adversity like his whole career basically and get to a spot where like you could like he's finally showing what I believed him to be his whole career. It's just been awesome to watch this year, honestly. Number two, probably Jeremy Swayman, if I'm honest. He's been the guy. I feel like he's just been the best goalie on the team for now 4 seasons. Even though we've had other guys in that like Allmark won the best of them 1 year, like in there. So like, that tells you what I think about him, even through the shit. And the last one's Pasternak, because how can you hate Pasternak? He's just like, I don't know, like he's just a little too much of a goof to be my favorite player. Like I'm more into like the sincere, like really knows the game, really loves the game players. And like, not to say he doesn't love the game. I can tell like he loves the game, but like, I don't know, he's just a little too much. Like I love his goofy side, but it's just like a little, like it just drops him like a tier below like McAvoy, I'd say is like up there. And then honorable mentions, I'd say Fraser Minton's come in and been one hell of a guy for us, not to rub in salt on fresh wounds. And then Steeler adds Victor Arvidsson and Marat Kuznetsov. I'd say are my
damn, bro, that's crazy. Having them over like Lindholm, who you've like watched for a fucking
dude. Lindholm's kind of like Riley like, though. Like, bro, geeky. Yeah, he's had a hell of a start of the season, but he's been buns down the stretch here, like buns. And same like Lindholm, dude. He had a great season there in that season where like McAvoy was out for like.
I guess there's like there's just a lot of blah on that forward core, to be honest. Just a lot of
Like we don't have a lot of mainstays. I'm not gonna say like Middlestad. Zaka, like sure he's having a great year, but I'd still I don't know. I like Arvidsson. I like what he's like in interviews. I watched the interviews.
Yeah, fair. I guess fair. I don't know. It just feels like that's two guys who are like barely have been on the team.
Okay. I mean, we're a fresh team. We're a fresh team.
List.
There's a lot of excitement.
All right. Let's do not on your favorite team.
Okay.
So you want to go first or me?
You go first because I just won.
All right. I would say that this is not in any particular order. I would say I don't have an order. I just have like a list of players. First being Rasmus Dahlin. I've been a big fan of that guy. I think he's silky smooth. I like the way he plays defense, the way he plays both ends and he cares about both ends of the ice. But obviously prioritizes offense more. And yeah, he's got an edge to him. I think he stuck it out in Buffalo. Like he made it work. He's the captain there. He's made it work this year. And obviously having him on my dynasty team for the last 3 years has helped. Obviously, like guys that I watch, I'm going to watch them more when they're on my team. It's just a simple fact. So he's definitely growing me that way. Another guy who's kind of growing me the similar way, but I also think it's very similar to Nylander. Love his style. Love the way he plays his game. Kirill Kaprizov. He's just so filthy to watch. Like one of my favorite players to watch. I love that he does weird stuff. Like he cuts the padding out of his gloves. He cuts the tongue off his skate. I don't know. I'm just a big fan of like quirky equipment stuff like that. Used to be a big equipment nerd when I was playing. So like, I really like players who like have like a very cool sense of style on their own. And Nylander is very similar to that with the tinted visor and the like tongue out, super hiked up socks on the shin pad. Like I like that, but just that individual style. Think it needs to be more in the NHL. Kaprizov's definitely got that. And so like him, big reason for that. Those are like the first two that really jump out at me. I'm trying to think. Another guy I've always been a big fan of, Travis Konechny. I really like. I guess actually there's another. So those are like the two for sure, and then there's kind of a group of three that I feel very similar about: Adrian Kempe, Travis Konechny, and oh my gosh, who's the last guy? Bro, I literally just had it. Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy. Oh, Seth Jarvis. Okay. I've been a big fan of all three of those guys. I really like all of their personalities. Like Konechny, I see him in the mic'd up clips all the time. Like he's giving me one of my best hockey chirps. Eat up, bud. Like anytime someone like takes a penalty, I'm like, oh, nice discipline there, bud. Eat up, bud. Like I'm a big fan of that chirp, and I got that from mic'd up from him. So, and he chirped Malkin for his earmuffs, and so or ear guards like on his helmet. So I thought that was funny. I'm a big fan of Seth Jarvis. You know, he's got his like D-Gen friends who travel with him like from Winnipeg, and he's a really funny guy. Yeah,
that would be sick,
you don't know what advantageous means, and neither do I. So please stop asking me. It's just going to confuse both of us. Like he's got a great personality for the game. And then finally, Adrian Kempe. Honestly, a big reason is he was one of the first guys. Like I watched him play. I saw the addition of Fiala to his line, and I was like, he was one of the first guys. I was just like, I see where this guy's going to cook, and he just did. And like I called, he was going to score 50 goals when his career high was like 35, and he scored like 48 or something. Like he was really, really close. And so I'd say for that reason, he always is going to hold a special place like in my heart, just because he was like the first guy that I predicted was going to break out and like worked. And yeah, that's my overall list.
I like it. I like it. Solid additions in there. I'm coming from a little bit of a different place, if I'm honest. My first one's probably pretty obvious.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Marner relationship ended very differently than the Marchand relationship.
Marchand, I'm more angry at management. Like, actually, I'm very angry at management for how they dealt with that. But yeah, Brad Marchand, so many memories, so many OT winners, so many playoff memories. The perfection line will live forever in my brain. And he was, the most witty out of them, that had the best personality, in my opinion. As Ben snaps people. Oh, what happened?
The middle
Winberg! We're the game winner?
With 41 seconds left. Like, massive moment in our... Oh, my God, it was 8-6, the final. the Canucks game.
I'm only 24 points back.
Besser scored a 4th goal.
What? No, he didn't.
Oh, his hat-trick goal was the
Got
empty
an
netter.
assist.
Okay. His hat-trick goal was the empty netter.
Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
116.92. It's a game.
Marchand is 1. Number 2, Mo Sider. He's a guy on my fantasy team. Fun fact for you, I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but I actually traded McCarr for Sider and
Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah. Which Loki didn't like. That's not awful.
I don't think that's a bad. Like you maybe lose it, but like I really don't think you do. Like you, and at the time, Sider and Tkachuk were both like 21 when you got them. Like they were both super young.
Anyway, but I've just loved his game. I think like alone,
I'm a big Sider guy too.
In Detroit, like I think he plays all aspects of the game pretty well. Like obviously, he's not one of those offensively super uber talented guys.
Bro, if he'd gotten a few more points, man, he was gonna be my like dark horse push that I was gonna push the narrative for him to be the Norris guy. Like if you'd asked me in like December, that was gonna be my pick. That I was like this guy, man, but he just didn't get the offense.
Yeah, I think that's got to be on the fact that like I think an improved decor will let him be more.
Well, actually, Edvinson's been good. He's been a very good partner for him.
But I think that decor as a whole, if he doesn't have to like commit so much time to
Pavel
just being
Mintyukov,
defensive, yes. But if he doesn't
that
have to
be nasty.
If he doesn't have to commit so much time to being like uber defensive, and he has like the opportunity to be like offensively talented again and focus on that aspect of his game, feel like he becomes like very much a similar player to McAvoy in my brain. You know what I mean? Like he's more of a hitter than he is like a defensive player, but same person.
No, he's really good defense
in my brain. No, I know, but like I mean, like he hits more than McAvoy is what I'm saying. Anyway.
Yes. Yes.
And then the last one, I've been glazing him all year. It's Macklin Celebrini. I think he's going to be the next GOAT of the sport. Not like better than Gretzky, but I mean generational GOAT.
I think I think we're
going to talk about him like we talk about Sidney Crosby. Like I think that's the level we're talking.
I think like the 2030s is going to be like his decade. Like I think the Sharks. It's like keep in mind like it's already 2026, 27. Like there's not that many years left in this decade. And so that's why I'm like next it's his decade and his team's decade beginning in like 2029, 30.
Yeah.
Which is only 2 years away.
Yep, it's gonna be fun to watch him, and I'm deciding that in this offseason I'm gonna acquire some Macklin Celebrini. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna lose the trade.
Think you're going to, man.
I'm gonna lose the trade. I'm gonna lose the trade, and I'm gonna get him.
I don't know
if it means I have to give up. If it means I have to give up like literally like 4 people that average 4 points, I will do it.
It would have to. I can't think of your team off the top of the head, but it would certainly start with Stützle and Fantilli.
Yeah, Stützle, Fantilli, Heiskanen, probably like 2 press. Yeah, Levshov. Anyway, we don't have to talk about it right now, but
you're right.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Kindle, something like that.
All right. We're getting to the end of the episode here, though.
You complete all your guys. You got anything else in your mind for this week's episode?
No. I think that's about it, and I think we're gonna be our next episode. We're gonna be recording during Easter, so I think that's gonna be more of like a special type episode. I don't know that there's gonna be too much different in the league anyway.
This is the last time you'll hear from us until next week's episode live. We're going to record tomorrow's episode. I guess there's no reason to like, why hide this information. We're going to record tomorrow's episode Monday's episode tomorrow is going to, oh boy.
You're good. You're back.
Okay. It just like, okay, there we go. So Monday's episode is going to be recorded tomorrow. We had to have a plan to fill it in. It's Easter weekend. We're going to be enjoying the holiday with our families. So that's why there's going to be no episode, but obviously we're going to make sure that you guys still get an episode to come out. But in terms of hearing from us live, you will hear from us live in 1 week's time, where there'll be a lot. That's going to be a big one
to
really catch
episode 107 will be a huge wild card update.
But also just, I guess, letting you know. Yeah. So check out 106. It'll be different. And I really think I really like what we came up with. It's a really cool concept. And so I think you guys should check it out and check it out on YouTube as well.
Cool. All right. Without further
Well
ado,
done.
thank you all for joining us today. If you got to the end of the episode, give us a little like and subscribe on the YouTube or follow on Instagram. And if you want to see those clips again of other episodes or of this one, that's at FHP_pod on TikTok. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you the next time we drop the puck. Have a good one, everybody.